Hi, good people. It's yet another week. Welcome back to Foxy Diaries, where we are all about wit, wisdom, and world turns. These stories will shape your life and help you make better decisions as you do life, So as per last week, we said this week we are going to look at our inner circles. So the question that comes to mind is, in that relationship, and by relationship it's broad, friends, work, how did you get to where you are? How do you choose who you call friends? How do you give these people access? That's the question. And as we begin, as always, I am Sylvia Mbogwa, your host, joined again as always by the one and only Grasha,
who's always drinking something.
And it is always sweet.
Let me tell you something. We drink tea as we give you tea. See?
That's true.
Brains.
Jesus tea. We are Jesus
exactly.
girls.
Jesus tea.
With a Jesus
I trust you good.
angle.
Ukoaje, how's your week been? As you pondered over, did God say that? Sasa leo tumekuja na another episode of who is this person? What are they doing in my life? It doesn't have to be relationship-wise. It doesn't have to be romance. It could even be mtu kasilai mwenye mnafanya naye kazi.
Imagine.
So should they be in your life? That's what we are talking about today.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries, who has access into your life, who should
the timelines we even give.
Let me
how
tell
soon
you,
do you allow people
Nilika
close to
realize tuko na categories of people. We have friends. We have awacha tuanze na wale huko nje kabisa. Tuko na
outer court.
Outer court 2.
Inner court alafu holy of holies.
Holy of holies, yes. Outer court, inner court, then holy of holies. So we need to have 3 people when you wako kwa life yako. So before we go to that, there is the acquaintance, there is the friends, and then there is family. And family doesn't have to be people that you're related with by blood.
Word.
There are people you meet, and the way you relate with them, they automatically become your family. Yeah. So what we are basically talking about today, ni nani rafiki yako? Who is an acquaintance? Who is your frenemy? Hey, because there are people out here who are frenemies, and then you're thinking they're your friends.
AKA monitoring spirits.
Exactly.
Anyway.
But Sly, let's just start with this. Let's not even go far. You and I. How did we become friends?
Really? Work brought us together,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Fun fact, as loud as she is, she does protocol as well.
And when you meet me doing protocol, I'm very nice.
Yeah, she knows her business. She's not as loud while working. So I think that's how we met.
Let me tell you guys something kidogo. Sorry for cutting Sly. Let me tell you something. Watching will be a secret. Do you know Sly and I were not friends? I did not like her at all.
Imagine. But why didn't you like me at first? Because you found me in my place of work again.
I felt like she was wrong.
But that is what protocol is all about. But anyway, story.
I didn't choke. She choked me the first. This I told someone, a mutual friend of ours. Oh no, let me sit down. Why?
But thank God for mutual friends, because that particular friend was like, give Sly some time. Once you get to know her,
Then I am given another project to work on with Sly, and I'm like, oh my God, who brought this one? Who? So let me tell you, by the way, because I want us to use our case scenario to talk about this topic, because I took days to call her. I took a lot of days, and time was passing. But then in those days that I took, I started praying about it. I told God, if you know this person is one person that needs to be in my life, then make a relationship to work. I cannot imagine me and that girl in the same box. I cannot imagine me and Sly in the same space. And for me, it was just so I took so many days. I was praying, I was thinking about it, and I was like, ni lazima akue. Kwani hatuwezi fanya hiki kitu kama hayuko? So in my mind, and then God kept saying, call her. So I remember this one day I called her on my way to Tao. So I was walking and I was like, let me do it. It's today or never. And then when I called her, she was very nice to me. And as we say, the rest is history. She's become one of my very good friends. Very, very good friends. I mean, why are we in Foxy Diaries?
I think you're even understating it. To me, I refer to her, and I think those close to me have heard me talk about her. She's one of my destiny helpers, a destiny connector. Oh my God, but story for another day. Things she has done for me.
I'm joking. But now, just relating our relationship. How did you know? Because me nimesema I prayed. I constantly, clearly told God, if this person needs to be in my life, then make it seamless. How do you know it's time to let that person into your life? Whether it's for work, whether it's relationship, or whatever. How do you know that?
So for relationships, I believe as you're giving people access, it's a journey. We begin from, as you said, the outer court. If you qualify, if you show yourself faithful, if you show yourself responsible enough for the outer court, then you're allowed to the inner court. And if you further show yourself faithful, committed, now you're allowed to the Holy of Holies, where secrets are. And I think as you're talking about this is an example that I think it has been modeled in the Bible, because I believe Jesus also worked in the same models. He came from 72 to 12, then to 3.
Yeah.
So there is what you can do with a crowd, that is the outer court, the people who know Sylvia, the protocol person.
Yeah.
Then we come to the inner people, the 12, the people who you will show, you'll just do life as you. Not that you don't do life as you everywhere, but in the outer court there are so many, what do we call them? Misconceptions about you. People just judge you the way you judged me. Because you did it from the outer court.
I was looking for outer court. I was looking for a quote to read for you. I had somewhere, but I'm not saying it, so we will move on.
But then, in our subsequent engagement,
we judge people, by the way.
We got to the inner court. Then you are like, and then we get to go out for a few dates here and there, and then we get to know one another, and you're like, no, you're almost getting to the Holy of Holies. Hope you get there soon. Maybe you're there, maybe we don't know.
Can I start? I need to address the nation, guys. I gotta address the nation, and because I do not have a mic, this is going to be my mic, guys. I have made it.
So anyway,
I play too much, but I was just getting this Bible verse that talks about Proverbs 13 verse 20. I'm reading from NIV, although I don't like NIV. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Then there's so many other Bible verses that talk about friendship. There is 1 Corinthians that talks about it's 1 Corinthians 15:33, don't be misled, bad company corrupts good character. Then there is Proverbs that says, above all else, I love this one, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So when you allow people come into your life, they access your heart. And when they pour into your heart, whatever they pour into your heart is what grows in you. So if they pour hatred, if they pour bad vibes, anything, if they pour negative things, then you outpour that to other people. Garbage in, garbage out. So I tend to think that we cannot talk about access without talking about boundaries. They go
hand in hand.
Yeah, if you're giving people access into your life, then you need to have boundaries. How far is too far? And it's not just how far is too far. How far is too far for how long?
That's true.
Yeah, we need
to let people qualify. You let people earn. You don't freely give these boundaries.
Then let me talk to you people at work. That want to BFF everyone, even your colleagues. Let colleagues remain colleagues.
Because all of you are there for the same thing. Promotions and...
That quote I was looking for has something to do with colleagues, but I don't know why I didn't find it. When I find it, I'll show it. I'll read it to you, even if it's not today. But allow work relationship be just that.
Because at times you'll find that friends, people we call friends, will want to come near you just to get your secrets.
Exactly. Yeah, unamwambia kitu leo,
And they use it against
yes,
you.
Let the workplace be a workplace. There's a reason mbona inaitwa work.
And you know, a funny example is coming to my mind. It's in the Bible. Remember about Samson and Delilah? Delilah was working. Yeah, alikuwa job.
By the way, yeah.
And he brought Samson close to her, on her laps, you know, and she knows what she wants. I just want your secrets because I've already been paid to come and destroy you.
Exactly.
And the same dynamics will always play out in your work relationships, your environments, your circles. People will just come close to you for your secrets.
Yeah.
So again, going back to what we said in our last episode, discernment.
Yeah.
Discernment. You really need to discern, why are you getting close to me? What is your business with me? Because at the end of the day, we can't rule out the place of good friendships. Again, basing it on the Bible.
Repeat your part. Ajasema good, amesema God.
No, it's important. Because look at a person like Jonathan and David. Jonathan had all the upper hand. You know, he's a king's son and everything. But you see what he did? He showed up legit. Their friends who are ride or die, you know.
I think there's a sermon that Pastor Prof preached a while back that talks about the 4 categories of friends. They are constituents, comrades, and I can't remember the other one. Wale watu wenye, you know you're friends because nyinyi mnafanya kazi the same place. Those are the people that I'll get that correctly from
or maybe we can call him. Sorry for another day.
So there are people you're friends with because you share a common goal. Once the common goal is removed,
friendship
there's nothing
up, and it's okay,
and it's fine. Then there are people who are meant to be in your life for a certain season. They are in your life for a certain season. Hiyo season ikikam kuisha, wanajiondoa.
And you let them go.
Exactly. And then there are people who come to your life for life. They become a part of you. You walk with them.
And you need to know who they are.
Miles and miles. So you need to discern, because a lot of people get hurt because we do not discern who was meant to live at what point. Umebebana na mtu, umebebana na umetoka na Nairobi, umefika na Limuru.
Dead weight.
Nika alikuwa anafaa kushukia Kangemi. Wewe umebebana tu na huku ushafika Limuru. Unashangaa kwa nini umechoka? Ni kwa sababu umebeba mzigo ilikuwa inaachiwa Kangemi. You are still going.
Umengangana tu hapo na luggages.
You need to understand at what point should this person exit, and it is fine for them to exit your life.
But I think people struggle with being fine with that.
Yeah,
people don't know when to nicely close a door. You know, we are not saying bang it, but there is a nice way of.
No, two. Then there is a place, ways to check out of a relationship, ways to check up out of a relationship or a friendship. One, if you outgrow it, to the point by outgrowing, I mean, ukijipata ile place yenye, you no longer have common grounds to talk about, wacha kuforce, imeisha. Ukijipata pia kula place yenye jipata split, don't keep forcing it back, it is gone. So, you don't have to kosana mvurugane. There are times kuna watu unajipatanga siku hizi au ongeleshi na mlikuwa mnaongea kitambo. You realize that their time is up. Stop calling them back into your life. When you call them back into your life, they become dead weight. And when they become dead weight, you start carrying baggage that you ought not to carry. So know when it's time for people to check out.
And talking about access, I think we left it at 3, where you're in your holy of holies. But we forgot to add that there is also a place where it's all about you. There is a boundary level where it's you and God. Where, like Jesus, at one point, he had to leave the 3 and move alone.
Oh yeah.
You know? And be alone. But going back to relationships, you know, because this is a month where we are doing relationships, the question becomes, who are your 3? Who do you leave?
Yeah, good question.
Praying for you? Who holds you up when you're down?
Yeah.
Who are these 3 that you can trust to stand watch? Because we all need them. And sadly, there are people who don't have those people. And I think that is why we are even having these conversations, so that you can start right, get it right,
hivi, unaona kichungi, unaona kikombe ndio hii, venye unachunganga chai, ekelea marafiki zako wote hapa, anza kuwachunga one by one. Kuna mwenye atapita hapo a pass through, kuna mwingine anafaa kuwa ametapikwa kitambo. So wale wenye wafaa kuwa wamwage sai, wacha kubebana na watu useme, nikianza mwaka nilikuwa nasema niko na goals. Sai bado hizo goals, they are very actionable.
But pia it's good for us to say and point out that it's not all about what you're getting.
Yeah.
You sometimes yourself, what are you pouring into others?
Because sometimes people
because there are some
toxic.
selfish people, very selfish. You know,
you are the problem.
Take, but do you ever pour into others?
Might you be the toxic person we are talking about?
Team, what do you bring to the table? You yourself, what do you bring to that table? I
bring the cup.
And the sweet tea.
And my tea.
So there is that place. In all relationships, I think what we're trying to say here, it's a give and take kind of dynamics.
I think it's like as we wind up our thoughts on this conversation, if you ask me to sum up what we are talking about, I'd say understand your assignment in friendships. Are you meant to receive from this person, or are you meant to give to this person, or are you meant to complement each other? That's a very important thing for you to understand, so that you're not there giving, and God sent you there to receive, and you're also not there receiving, and God sent you there to give, or you're not there, and maybe you needed to be a mutual benefiting friendship. Then
understand the place of relationships.
God amekutuma kufanya nini kwa life ya huyo mtu, and then be okay with not being friends with everyone.
Diligently and
be okay with not being friends with everyone.
That's true.
I mean, Sawa Sly is a nice person. She was not meant to be my friend. It's fine. Inauma lakini it's fine.
Well, but I think purpose, define purpose, it makes it easier for you to place people where they should be placed. But anyway, yes, as we are winding up, I think we would want, there's something you've talked about, because I think you've been heavy on that. Your story, Piggy, I feel like kuna kitu. But anyway, there are relationships that need to go, right? There are relationships that you need to be okay with them dying, natural deaths. Yeah. But then again, do you ever sit down and think that there are relationships that maybe did die a premature kind of death? Yeah. Relationships that might need resurrection.
You've opened a Pandora's box. My goodness.
Maybe it was not time.
Kuna relationships, kama mimi, hey my God.
Maybe it was not time.
There's a friend of mine, she killed the relationship at one point, and in my mind, I was like, wow, interesting. Was it supposed to end like this? But then again, mysteriously, I know she will watch this and she will know it's what I'm talking about, but I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with you. But mysteriously, God resurrected it back. And I was like, probably whatever I was supposed to do in your life, or whatever tulikuwa tunafanya into each, and that was a long-term relationship. So
maybe at times there are relationships that
died a premature death and need resurrection.
And on that point, this is the end for this one, but we will keep talking. But for next week, we will pick it up from there.
Do you need to resurrect? As Christ is resurrecting.
Yeah, Easter manenos, guys.
Not to sound deep.
Yes.
Anyway, as Christ is resurrecting, we are having, I don't know if we call it a part 2 of this conversation, but are there relationships that died prematurely that you need to resurrect as Christ is resurrecting?
How do premature relationships that die look like,
Yeah, so watch out for that next week. We'll have that and much more. Of course, we will keep giving you the tea, Jesus tea, me and food. The untold tales of wit, wisdom, and wild time.